Everybody, it is Chris. It's Tuesday, June the 18th. And today I want to take a step away from the Donald Trump versus Joe Biden race. We have talked a lot about it. We are going to talk a lot about it. But I actually wanted to highlight someone that I think is sort of my dark horse for the next Democratic leader nationally. And the guy's name is Wes Moore. Now, Wes Moore, if you do not know, is the governor of Maryland. He got elected in 2022. He's 45, African-American. He's the first black governor of Maryland ever. He is the only black governor in the country right now, and he's the third black governor who's ever been elected in the country. Okay, so history making in that regard. So earlier this week, Wes Moore announced that he was pardoning 175,000 people convicted, Marylanders, convicted of low-level marijuana possession and other sort of related marijuana crimes. Now, he was doing this for a couple reasons. One, in 2022, Maryland legalized the use of pot, so it's a little weird to have people who have convictions for it. Two, he did it just 2 days before Juneteenth, sort of marking the last day a slave was freed, which is on Wednesday, as a way to sort of highlight the inequality still present racially, racial inequality still present in our criminal justice system, that African Americans are overwhelmingly more convicted of these low-level misdemeanor marijuana crimes than are white and Hispanic folks. So that drew national news. I did a quick search before I did this video. The New York Times wrote about it. The Washington Post obviously wrote about it. CBS News wrote about it. ABC News wrote about it, right? It's a very interesting move by Moore. I mean, I think he believes it, but I think he also understands that it's going to get him some significant national attention, and it did. So why Moore? Why is he interesting beyond this? Well, as I said, his sort of history-making status as only the third black governor in the country, I think, is pretty interesting. He's also a Rhodes Scholar. He was the first Rhodes Scholar in the history of Johns Hopkins University. He also is a member of the military. He served in Afghanistan. This is just a guy with a pretty amazing resume who is going to get reelected as the governor of Maryland. It's one of the most democratic states in the country. So he's going to get reelected as the governor of Maryland in 2026, almost certainly, barring scandal, which kind of sets him up pretty well for the 2028 presidential race, right? And I don't think we talk enough about him. We focus on Kamala Harris. Understandably, she's the vice president. We focus on Pete Buttigieg. Again, understandably, he ran for president last time around. We focus on Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, or Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, or Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan. And all those people are probably going to run and probably will at least start ahead of Wes Moore, because I don't think a lot of people know him all that well. I just think it is worth paying attention to what he does between now and let's call it early 2027. Because again, he is the governor of a very democratic state. So he can push liberal agenda items like, by the way, pardoning 175,000 low-level marijuana offenders that are going to endear him to liberals and progressives nationally without any worry about blowback, politically speaking, right? He is right in the wheelhouse. He has no problem doing that. I think he is not only interesting from a policy perspective, he also has sort of an interesting common touch. So when the Baltimore Ravens, the NFL team, were making their playoff run, he went to a game and shotgunned a beer with the fans. Okay, kind of cool. Earlier over the weekend, he got on stage with Maggie Rogers, who is playing in Columbia, Maryland. She's a singer, if you don't know her, singer-songwriter from Maryland, and declared June 16th Maggie Rogers Day in the state. So he has this interesting sort of like common touch for a guy with an amazing resume, right? High-end schools and all these awards and accolades. He has this nice common touch to him. So keep an eye on Wes Moore. I just think he is someone who we may be talking more about in the future. I think this is the first step, this pardoning of the 175,000 marijuana convictees. It's the first step in maybe emerging a little bit more on the national stage. I think that's particularly true if Joe Biden loses in November. So if Joe Biden loses, there's going to be a scramble for who will lead the party, right? It's always hard when you don't have the White House, but sort of who will lead the charge against Donald Trump and his policies. And lots of people will try. But many of those people, I think, they're going to be term limited out. They're not going to be currently in office, like Kamala Harris, for example, which makes it harder to do. Wes Moore is going to be in office in a very Democratic state where with Democratic elected officials up and down the ballot, up and down the sort of, attorney general and lieutenant governor, all those people are Democrats in Maryland. So he will have the ability, I think, to sort of fight back against policies that Donald Trump puts in place, which will raise, I think, his national profile. So keep an eye on him. I think he is a major rising star with real gifts as a candidate and a really, really good story to tell. So watch him. Wes Moore of Maryland. I like to do these on occasion. Just give you a kind of what's coming around the next corner. I know we're focused on 2024, but around the next corner might be even more interesting. All right, take care. That's it for today. As always, subscribe to this channel, like this video, comment on this video, and tell 5 friends. See you tomorrow.